Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and let me know how you guys feel about me telling those corny little jokes at the opening of each video. Do you want more, or not? Do you like them? No? Let me know in the comments down below, because if you like them, I'll keep doing them, and if not, or if I get no feedback, I'm just going to stop doing them. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam this morning called Nour, or Nour. I don't really know how to pronounce that at all, but it's Nour, play with your food. It's, well... It's supposedly an interactive exploration game which leads into the aesthetics of food, says Steam. Developed by Terrifying Jellyfish, love the name, and published by Panic. Released not in early access and selling for $15 American. Now I don't even know why I'm here. I don't even know how I'm going to review this. I mean, it's a playing with your food simulator game, I think. But I don't know, I'm thinking maybe it'll be satisfying like Power Wash Simulator or House Flipper, so is it? Well, let's dive in together and find out. And I know, I bet all y'all out there are just wondering how the heck am I going to review a game so simple like this, huh? Well, let's find that out too. Okay, so there's no story, obviously. You're just messing around with food. Okay, next. Now, as always, let's go into the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts, alright? Up first for the positives is the music and the sound effects. Hell, this game even has voice acting, which I was absolutely not expecting. And that's not all. The sound effects and the music are all incredibly well done. I mean, just listen to the music now. I can't actually just show you a clip with just the music because I don't know if it's copyright protected or not, but you know, just listen to it behind my voice. It's really good, and you know, if you can't hear it, take my word for it. And the sound effects are wacky, and they're bouncy, and they fit the theme, and the voice actor that's here also sounds kind of familiar, maybe from an anime or something, I don't know, but I can't really put my finger on where. Regardless, she does a good enough job, and music is really a big part of this game, so it's good that, you know, it's done well here. The voice actress kind of just disappears after the beginning, but, you know, the rest of the sound effects and music and stuff, they still work really well throughout the game, so that's good. Up next is the originality and the creativity here. I mean, this game gives you a bunch of different tools so that you can really just create what you want and mess around with food. Play with your food, but not get in trouble or make a big mess that you're going to need to clean up later. You know, it's creative, and it's kind of satisfying to be able to do whatever you want, so the idea is really interesting. Plus, it combines the playing with your food with the musical track, which is also a really interesting idea. And last but not least was the stability. Despite the game just releasing, I didn't experience any bugs or glitches that I could see. It didn't crash, and it all seemed to work pretty fine, so you know, that's good too. And also, I wanted to mention that title screen. I mean, it's impressive as hell. I've seen bigger and better games that didn't have a title screen so interesting. Okay, so that's all I got to say positively about the game. Now we're going to go into the negatives, but before that, my channel gets more views if it gets more views. So please, if you really want my channel to get bigger and to do better, please consider spreading the word of my channel, liking, subscribing, and all that to help out. Alright? Thank you. Now then, on to the negatives. The first one that really grinds my gears is the controls. They are just awful. For PC, at least, I mean, I don't normally use a controller for my games because I prefer to use PC controls. And they're just awful here, and the game never even said, oh, this is best played with a gamepad. So, you know, it's like they didn't even realize that the controls were bad in the first place, or that they were designed for a certain way or not. But it wants you to utilize both the mouse and the keyboard, but not just the keys that are on the left of the keyboard, also the ones on the right. So they want you to switch between using your mouse for various things, and then using both hands on the keyboard for various things, and half of them are awkwardly placed and don't make any sense. And to make matters worse, there are no on-screen prompts to tell you what buttons do what, so you'll never be able to accurately do anything you're trying to do. I mean, you can't even screw around the way you want because you have no idea what does what. And that allows, and if you're wondering why I don't just go and look at the controls, well, this is why. When I try to look at the controls or combos or anything, this is what I get. This right here, this little symbol here, whatever the heck this is, nothing. So it's not like I can control the controls. Which leads me to my next point, basically, the tutorial. If you're not going to have any key prompts or tooltips, then, or let us control the controls, then you at least need to have a thorough tutorial to teach people what they are doing, but there isn't one. And since, I mean, there is a tutorial here, but it's pathetic and bland, and it doesn't teach me anything. And since this game isn't like others, it's not like you can just go into it kind of figuring out what buttons do what. Like WASD, you're supposed to add ingredients, right? Then why did W, or was it A, just shoot hot air and blow all my ingredients away? 1, 2, 3, 4 add ingredients, right? But so does like 7 or 8. I mean, what? Which leads me to my next negative, the gameplay. This, I assume, was meant to be one of those goofy, fool around with, satisfying simulator games. However, with gameplay this redundant, repetitive, and badly programmed, it's more annoying than it is satisfying or anything else. The camera controls are just awful. Like, you can't go up and down, only zoom out and in, and then you can rotate. So you can't even get a bird's eye view of the food you're messing around with. And then you've got this weird level system where sometimes the game tries to teach you something new, like magic? What? But then the next level, it'll have nothing, just a bowl of ramen. Again, no tooltips or prompts or anything, so you have no idea what you're supposed to do or even how you're supposed to do anything. So I just set everything on fire and moved on. So the gameplay is just awful. It's boring, it's repetitive, and despite the kind of game I'm playing, it wasn't fun or satisfying at all, which was supposed to be the whole point. And when you go to the Steam store page, it literally says this: Nour is an experimental food art game that blends mouth-watering visuals, not so sure about that, dynamic beats, and playful exploration. Unbound by scores, time limits, or realism, Nour invites you to play with your food in a variety of surreal scenes ranging from chill to unhinged. From a symphony of toasters to a bathtub full of ice cream and far beyond, rediscover the joy of play in this unique foodie fantasy. And yeah, that'd be cool, interesting, and fun if you didn't hide the controls and make it so that nothing you did makes any sense. I mean, how the heck am I supposed to line things up properly to look like a beautiful dish if the only tool you give me is a generic magnet that sucks up literally everything? Like, what if I wanted to just create this amazing, beautiful dish and give it fancy different colors and then splatter it all over the restaurant? Can't do that here, which seems like it should be a pretty obvious thing you should be allowed to do here. Or what if I just wanted to make this delicious looking food and give it a cool ambiance and then take a picture of it? But again, I can't do that either. Obviously, it goes without saying that this game pretty much doesn't even have a user interface, so that's highly disappointing, and for what is there is pathetic and badly designed. As you can see, I'm moving on to my next point because otherwise I'd be stuck on that old point the rest of the day. Also, for some reason, this game is burning up my PC worse than Starfield does. Like, that's not a good thing, and I don't know how they're doing that, but that's not okay. Look, I really hate to put down video games that people worked hard on, but this game is just, I mean, if you wanted to make a game about messing around with food that was meant to be just funny, then why not give us better controls, a better camera system, tooltips? I'm just staring at this food here without anything, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out how anything works, let alone how to make it do what I want it to do, and because of that, I'm not able to have any fun because I'm too confused. And every level is different, by the way, with different control schemes, different ingredients, and different everything. And there's so many things to do, and there's so many things to learn that it would take me several hours to memorize what each one does, and quite frankly, I'd rather be playing Starfield right now. And the worst part is that this game is asking for $15 for this. I was hoping for a relaxing game where I could just screw around and make some perfect dishes or some super ugly ones, but just tossing food all over the table doesn't make an ugly dish, it just makes a mess, which is fine and all, so maybe just call this game Mess Maker, and then take away all the tools, and instead just give people fancy dishes, a freaking air gun, and an interesting background to blow it all away onto. You know, that way we get to see food splatter all over everything. That'd be more fun and interesting than this game. Hell, it doesn't even work right. I mean, look at this part. I'm making a soda, or so it told me, but when I add in the dye color, it doesn't change. It just stays clear. So it doesn't even all work right. I know I said I didn't experience any bugs or glitches, but I don't think this is a bug or a glitch. I think it's just a bad design flaw. If it wasn't obvious by now, I'd recommend everyone just ignore this game and move on. Maybe after a few months of patches and updates, it'll be a little bit more passable. But why spend the money on this when you could spend just a little bit more on a bigger, better game that are currently releasing, like Starfield or Baldur's Gate 3, that will last you weeks or months and are far more fulfilling? This game was definitely not worth my money or my time, and if you see this, then I encourage you to move on as well. I know that this isn't something I normally do, this kind of game and whatnot, but even so, it looked like a quirky, relaxing game that I could spend a couple hours on, you know, just BSing around with and get a break from all my other games. But with the control scheme so bad, and despite all the options they give you, still feeling very limited on what you can or can't do, and it's just not at all worth it or at all what I thought it would be. So, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking doing this one. So this is just a heads up to you guys, don't waste your time. So that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.